And Biggie
Hey,
Bam.
folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Vamp Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Lafferty. Here's my co-host, Jacob Blackman. Jacob, how you doing tonight?
I am well.
All right. We're here to talk about spooky movies and their RPG counterparts. First off, let's play our opening track. And that lovely audiovisual fanfare assures you this is a high quality, high production values podcast. Only the finest, ethically sourced, farm to table, geeky conversation for your podcast listening pleasure. No AI content. None of that dodgy Chinese manufactured geeky conversation. This is the straight dope that you might overhear at 2 a.m. at Denny's. In the comfort of your home. So, all right, Jacob.
Hello.
What is your favorite scary movie?
Oh, that would be really difficult to narrow down.
Tell me about one that you like.
Okay. Well, I've seen some pretty good ones recently. Of course, being the Halloween season is the time to watch scary movies, so it's a good time to go over things I've seen in the past, watch some new stuff, and of the new stuff that I've seen, recently I really enjoyed The Arcadian.
I've never heard of this.
It's an aftermath horror. Very much along the lines of, The Quiet Place, where, monsters have eliminated society and we're focused on a small family group who are living in the aftermath of the fall of civilization, with monsters being a reality.
Oh, okay. It's Nicolas Cage. It came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, it's pretty good. You've got some of the usual family drama stuff. There's some pretty decent additional extra characters, but it mostly follows Nicolas Cage and his two sons in the film, and them trying to maintain their lives and their home. And let me tell you, when I tell you there are monsters in this movie, I have no other way of describing it. These things are the most monstrous things I have seen in a horror movie in a long time. Their monster is literally the only way to describe them. I can't poke at them and I can't look at them and say, hey, that's some kind of fairy creature, or it's some alien thing, or, oh, they're just rehashing like a Spriggan. No, I couldn't tell you what these things are. They are so horrific.
Cronenberg-esque?
I don't know.
Okay. Might have to check that one out. That's called Arcadian, and it just came out March of this year. So
all I can tell you is the first scene where we get a look at these things involves an arm poking through a small porthole through a door, and it's terrifying.
All right. Well, speaking of things that are terrifying, remember that book we did a few years back?
You're going to have to be a little more specific.
We've done
a lot of books together, Mike.
We have. Universal Monsters Omnibus for M&M World.
Love that book. I love working on that book so much.
Yeah, this gets most of the classic monsters. Your Frankenstein's monster, the Bride, Mummy, the Merman, let's call him, werewolf, and then vampire. And just for fun, we threw in a Yeti, Jack Frost, and Krampus.
Yes.
just to cover all of your end of year holidays. And you can get it right now for, oh my God, $59 for Mutants and Masterminds. Or if you're watching this podcast, drop me an email at mikelaugh@gmail.com with the word monster in the subject line, and you'll enter in a drawing. And one of our lucky viewers can get this one for free, or Savage Worlds version if you're a savage. But it's a fun book. It's got some amazing Jacob art, and we blow up that cover again. Look at that. Feast your eyes on that. Yeah, it's a good time. I feel like we should have a Halloween game on the podcast. Jacob, what do you think?
A Halloween game sounds like a lot of fun. It might be a little too short notice to do one this year because having to come up with something that quickly I'm not sure if I could come up with one that fast, but maybe.
Have to do something rules light.
Mm-hmm.
Could do a vampire version of Honey Heist.
We've always got the Monsters Are Your Heroes. That's a really fun one.
That is a hemoglobin heist.
That's good. Yeah, I like that.
I might have to write that now. That's crazy. All right, so one second. Alexa, stop. That was weird.
So, how about you? What have you seen any really good horror movies recently?
The Salem's Lot reboot.
Yes, I watched that myself.
It's gotten a lot of hate from reviewers, but I really enjoyed it. I have seen the criticisms have been that the cast is, wasted. They don't go enough detail. That it's not as scary as the original. But,
the original miniseries was pre-Die Hard, and let me tell you, it shows because that thing drags. It was what, a 6-part miniseries, each part being 2 hours.
You gotta keep in mind that the taste of audiences have changed.
Yeah.
And my wife, she hates movies before like mid 1980s, maybe when Die Hard came out. So this is a Salem's Lot for people who don't want the long, slow burn you got in entertainment in the 70s. I'm an old guy. I'm kind of cool with that. But I thought this movie was a nice condensed version of the story. Special effects were a little bit better. It was still creepy. I can't rave about it and say it was the best movie I've seen all year, but it did everything I wanted from a scary Stephen King vampire movie. So, yeah.
For me personally, I felt it hit all the beats of Salem's Lot. It just managed to condense it in a nice 2-hour format as opposed to a 6 to 8 hour format.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I can't quite hear what you're saying there.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to play the trailer in the background. Let me share it. All right, and we'll blow that up. I'll come back over here.
Yeah, it was nice and refreshing to see a vampire movie that wasn't a romantic vampire movie, but a proper horror and monster film.
Yeah, I agree. And there were some cool shots that did. When the sun was going down, they were in the drive-in, and the shadow cast by the string was getting longer and longer, and the vampires there did some cool visual things. It kind of reminded me of Stranger Things in some ways. Maybe that's intentional. Yeah, it's a good Stephen King movie. You don't get a million of those. So I really liked it. Prior to this, scary movies I've seen that I enjoyed. I really liked Renfield. Also, with Nicolas Cage going through his horror / wild comedy phase, I want to like it more. They kind of tacked on a sort of romance that was sort of felt obligatory there. But it was a wacky movie about Renfield breaking free from Dracula. So it kind of did what I thought it was going to do. Didn't blow my hair back, but.
All right.
Other than that, it's been a while since I've seen a horror movie I would want to talk about. Train from Busan was good, but that was a few years ago.
Do you like spiders?
I do.
I recommend Sting. And there was another one that came out recently, Infested. Sting and Infested are two recent movies that came out in the last year that are about giant spiders.
Okay.
Both of them were decent. I would give them decent. They're not great, but if you want just a fun, nice horror movie to watch that makes you creepy because spiders, they're good for that.
Have you seen Late Night with the Devil?
Oh, that was so good. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, yes, that was so good.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that. Maybe I'll see it this weekend because
Mhm.
that looks really good. And I mean, we grew up in the Satanic Panic of the '80s, so
Mhm.
it's near and dear to home. You know, it would be great that no
What's
one's
that?
really done. Satanic Panic flavored RPG. No,
How would one do that
I don't
though?
know, but it's a niche. I mean,
Or
it's near and dear to all of our hearts because a lot of ours, because we grew up in that time frame, and no one's really tried to. I mean, capture that sort of vibe the way, like, well, I'm guessing Late Night with the Devil does, or what are some
eh,
other? What
I
was
don't
that
know.
one? What was that one horror movie with Ozzy Osbourne as a televangelist? Remember, as a heavy metal.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about, but no, I don't remember the name of it. Hmm.
Um,
Anyway, while we try to think about that, another vampire movie that I want to see that I heard is good,
Trick or Treat.
but Trick or Treat, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another vampire movie that came out recently that I heard was good, but have not had an opportunity to see. Abigail. I'm looking forward to watching that when I can on streaming.
It looks like more of a horror comedy, but I'm completely down. The
Mhm.
Substance, Tay 21. You seen The Substance?
I have heard The Substance is amazing. I have not had a chance to see it.
Yeah, I should check that out. You know, I should really mention our friends at Ghost Show Press do anthologies of horror movie, criticism. Called
And
Fantastic
they're
Horror.
pretty good at it because
Yeah.
they know their stuff.
Tay 21, can you tell us some more about that movie? I'd love to hear anything you have to say. But yeah, I'm sorry. I've been thinking a lot about Satanic Panic movies. If you widen a little bit to include not just heavy metal, but the whole demonic. I mean, basically, I don't want to say Catholic Panic, but
Hmm.
Stranger Darling, really great. I haven't heard of Strange Darling. I'm
So
gonna
I'm
have to Google that.
curious how we would do this. Are we talking about um, where are we talking about where the people who are considered Satanists are the good guys, while all the evangelicals are actually the bad people? Or is this supposed to be the evangelicals are actually good and know what they're talking about and are fighting against the forces of Satan?
I have no idea, Jake. I'm just
Fair
saying
enough. Okay.
it's a fairly popular niche in horror, and Trick or Treat, Tunnels and Trolls,
Hmm.
and was it Tunnels and Trolls? What was the Tom Hanks D&D Satanic Panic movie?
Oh, I don't remember the name. I've never actually watched that movie. I've only heard about it. But Tunnels and Trolls was the RPG.
Yeah, yeah. Mazes and Monsters.
Mazes and Monsters. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's this whole subgenre of stuff in the '80s. Dealing, kind of. I don't want to like I said Catholic Panic, but there's an awful lot of demons and possessions, and I mean we kind of oddity. Why does oddity sound so familiar? I'm gonna have to Google that.
I'm not familiar with Oddity.
Came out in
Recently, I've been
2016.
trying to hunt down and watch some of the classic Hammer films because I've never really gotten a chance to watch the Hammer films. Um, Sometimes when I go over and get to hang out with Heretic is supposed to be a religious horror film about two young missionaries,
Mhm,
and these are two women
mhm,
are going from house to house, and uh, they go to the house of this one guy who is played by Hugh Grant,
mhm.
and then he takes them into the back of the house and says like, okay, and now we're going to play a game where you have to choose which door you go through based on your faith.
Based on your faith.
And and I've only watched the trailer, so I haven't actually watched the movie, so I can't tell you any more than that.
That's
I've heard
interesting.
though it's amazing.
Yeah, as far as gaming the idea goes, I don't know how you would do it. I mean, because horror gaming by itself, I mean, can be to actually run a scary game can be challenging. I mean, it'd be easier to do this as a whole joke. What's the name of those couples in the series of movies dealing with? Boy, there's the haunted doll.
Oh, right,
Annabelle,
right,
and,
right, 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 right,
yeah,
right. Annabelle and the like the nun and all that. Um, uh,
the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
yeah, the Warrens.
Yeah, those were the two people who were involved with Amityville Horror, right? Yeah, they were the. I want to say at least Lorraine Warren was in when the effort to exorcise that house. I don't know. It seems like it's a niche no one else has done. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you get into that. There's got to be a way though. So.
Okay. Well, the trick to doing
Mhm,
horror role playing is you have to keep it in a particular genre. It needs to be
mhm,
a horror genre,
mhm,
and very few games are able to maintain that genre and have it fit the with the flow you want to go with, because most games are about a certain amount of power fantasy.
mhm,
Even D&D fantasy games, uh, you have powers, and so you have means to remove fear effects or curses or anything like that. Whereas in proper horror movies, humans are powerless. Humans are
mhm,
just humans. And the only thing that has powers are the supernatural creatures that are coming after you. You
mhm.
have to survive or fight against them, or they are unkillable except in a very specific way that you have to figure out before they kill you. And that is where the element of horror sometimes falls away from most RPGs.
Yeah,
I was just talking about this on Facebook, where it's hard to do with superhero games because you're playing superheroes. So ultimately, a supernatural creature just becomes another supervillain for you.
yeah, and I think that's the only. That's how I've done it. Is you can do a supervillain who has the trappings of horror. You
Hmm.
know, he's a
Hmm.
skeleton or a vampire, whatever. But at the end of the day, the fiction you're emulating is comic book fiction, which isn't really horror fiction.
Right.
And Tay21 mentioned The Dark and the Wicked. Look at the Wikipedia page for it. Yeah, it's looks like another possession movie. 2020. This looks pretty good. So yeah, this is a useful podcast. I mean, more movies to check out. But
Indeed.
we do know people who've done horror movies. Like I remember A Last Girl RPG
Hmm.
a while back. That's more of a slasher thing, and maybe that's the best you can do is kind of nod to the genre and try to emulate that.
Yeah, slasher is, I consider, an offshoot of horror. It's not my particular bag. I don't like slashers in terms of where I like proper horror. I don't need to see gore and guts. I need to have fear invoked. I need to have the happy neurons saying you're okay, you're actually okay. But the scary thing, but no, you're okay. That's one of the things I like about horror. That feeling of safe and comfort, but the scary thing on the screen is making me scared. Whereas slashers just make me feel gross and make me scream at the injustice of it all in where we live in an already unjust world. It's like these people didn't deserve to die. She didn't deserve to die like that. There's no reason that should happen. Why is this? Why are we prolonging this death? This is pointless. That's how I feel watching slasher movies.
And Tay21 says, I think some of the best horror are films of dread. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. It didn't work for me on subsequent viewings, but the Blair Witch, when I first saw it, I mean, there's not much action at all.
No.
It's just slowly building paranoia and dread. And the climax is just in the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah. No, the original Blair Witch did a good job with that. The remake, not so much. They kept showing her too much. The point of the original Blair Witch is you never saw what was happening.
Yeah,
So
you
it
know,
was just the
you mentioned
feeling of terror.
you mentioned Die Hard earlier, and I have a similar philosophy with the Blair Witch as I do with Die Hard, which is I'm unaware of any sequels or reboots. You just
Fair
made
enough.
that first movie and it was great. I wonder why there weren't any more, but
Mhm.
I just leave it at that, and I'm a happier dude. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, all right, here's a weird thing. Ton of RPGs that are evoking cosmic horror.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't swing a stick without hitting some other take on Cthulhu and his
Mhm.
buddies. I don't know if that's ever been done right on the screen.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, there's lots of movies that have
Okay.
Cthulhu, but he's
Uh,
never that dark existential horror that Lovecraft was going for. I don't think.
yeah. No, it is a difficult thing to grasp. I have enjoyed some cosmic horror, but very, very little of it because so much cosmic horror just tends to end up being wa- reality shifting. Is this guy insane or is this happening? No, it's not. He's just crazy. So, oh, yes, Underwater is amazing.
All right, tell me about Underwater. What happens in
Okay,
Underwater?
so few people got to see Underwater, and the reason why is because it was released in early 2020,
Okay.
just as COVID hit.
Oh, that's the one with Kristen Stewart. Oh, I've
Yes,
seen this one. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, that
it
that
is.
one it kind of does do the Cthulhu mythos right.
It is a really good mythos film, and especially on repeated viewings, because then you can start to see, hey, wait, when they opened the locker, he had that thing in there with the symbol on it. Oh, look, wait, look at that. And it's like you can tell they live in a mythos world without actually pointing to it. So
I
it
had
was
forgotten about
really
this
good.
movie. Yeah, we
I
watched this
I
during COVID.
mhm, I love
This
that
was
film.
the
Um,
Kristen Stewart comeback vehicle.
my second favorite mythos film has got to be The Void.
The Void. I haven't seen The Void. Let me look that up. What
Uh,
happens in The
this
Void?
this is a movie that takes place in a hospital
Hmm.
uh, that is under siege by a cult.
Oh,
It starts out with a couple of people who find someone that is being that who is injured, and when they try to rescue them from their stab wounds, they get attacked by cultists wearing robes and all that, and uh, they're and they get trapped in the hospital, and then weird stuff starts to happen because it's all linked together. And yeah, one of the newest to go off on that Tay 21. One of the shorts from Love, Death, and Robots, especially the one involving the soldiers in the desert. That was some serious Cthulhu stuff right there.
I'll have to go back and see that. I haven't watched that one. So,
There's in the most recent season, there's one about a group of American soldiers who are going into what is supposed to be an insurgent bunker, a mountain cave complex, and as they go deeper in, it gets weird.
interesting. I should mention our giveaway again.
Yes.
Shifting from cosmic horror to campy. We did a book called Universal Monsters Omnibus,
Hmm.
and I was trying to just pop up the cover. I want to do in the preview. This is, basically the old Universal monsters and M&M.
You want to click on the image?
Yeah, I tried that. It didn't pop. It just popped up this. So,
Okay.
all right. Anyway,
Well, the difference between I do want to point out some of the things people may not know, because some of the people may know me for having done Superpowered Legends, which did involve quite a few of the monsters that may be represented in here: vampires, mummies, werewolves, all that sort of thing. This Universal Monsters product has completely different monster builds from those that I did in Superpowered Legends. The Superpowered Legends is based on creatures, how they would appear in Dungeons and Dragons, and thus again would make great foes against lower powered people and humans, somewhat against heroes, but not as much. These monster builds are designed to be supervillains for your campaign. They are very powerful.
And shoot me an email with monster and title at mikelife@gmail.com to be entered for the giveaway. See, why couldn't we do that kind of cosmic horror, like they do with Call of Cthulhu, Trail of Cthulhu, everything else of Cthulhu, but with the Judeo-Christian pantheon, and have it, instead of elder gods and mythos beings, it's
angels and weird things that are made of hoops of fire and all eyes and wings,
or Beelzebub and Baphomet, and it's
easily done.
Yeah.
It's just how you represent them. Most people tend to represent things a little too anthropomorphically, where Beelzebub, it's just the devil is just some guy who's painted red with bat wings and horns. Why? Why does the devil look like that? Shouldn't it be more monstrous? Shouldn't it be just the most abject, fearful thing you can potentially imagine? Lucifer was the head of the seraphim. That means he should have multiple heads, multiple pairs of wings. He should be this horrific, monstrous thing.
Like P. Diddy.
Exactly.
All right. But I mean, that kind of, I don't know. I guess if we're going to ever write this Satanic Panic game, we probably need to sit down and figure out how do we make it interesting enough with a new take on things while still evoking the old feel of the media I'm thinking about. Yeah. And if there's an audience for that, because I don't know that there is. So.
Well, I'm percolating ideas on this. I'm not sure how much of a full game I could produce out of it, but Bear is in the chat saying hello.
Bear, sorry, I didn't see it.
Hi.
I heard someone say Lucifer and Seraphim, and here I am.
And you have some great ambient lighting going on there.
I try. I do my best. Sorry I'm late.
No, it's all good, man. Speaking of depictions of the devil in popular media.
But as I was saying just before Bear was saying hello, while I may not have a full game idea in this, I could certainly see an adventure. I could potentially construct an adventure on this. Some ideas work better in a smaller form than others.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear. I've been thinking about 80s media a lot, and like there's so many movies about possession, and especially in haunted houses in the wake of the Amityville Horror and The Exorcist. But I don't see that kind of stuff represented much, in RPGs. So anyway, hey Bear, let's talk about your favorite scary movie or the favorite one from the last year or two.
Last year?
Last 5 years? Last decade?
Mandy was really good.
Oh, Mandy was good. Yeah.
Mandy was my favorite. Is a movie from 1980 called The Changeling with George C. Scott, John Colicos, shot in Canada by a Polish director, I believe, named Peter Medak, who I had a chance to work with on an episode of Masters of Horror. And it's absolutely my favorite scary film because it's not gory. Okay, I'll give you the basic rundown. You tell me if this works for you. Basically, a guy who's a composer, his wife and kid are killed in a horrible accident. He's not doing well, so he moves all the way to Seattle to get away from it all. Okay. At one point, he's unpacking some stuff, and his rubber ball falls out, and he has a flashback about it being his daughter's toy and all this fun stuff. At some point, the ghost in the house is trying to talk to him and is trying to communicate with him, but he doesn't know what it wants. And he finally has enough one night, and he's writing and he's stressed, and this rubber ball, boom, 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 bounces into the room. He picks it up, he gets in his car, he drives out to a bridge, he throws the ball off the bridge, drives home, opens the door to the house, boom, 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 down the stairs, and it's wet. You understand? That's horror.
That's good.
Scary.
That's some good horror.
It's a great movie. I highly recommend it to everybody if you haven't had a chance to see it.
I haven't heard of this one before. This is pretty cool.
There it is. There's the shot. Fuck that shot. All the hair on my arm just stood up.
We should bring you into the Ghost Show podcast sometimes. All we do is talk about scary movies on that stuff.
Sure. If I'm free, I'm happy to come by.
Cool.
But yeah, I think horror has lost a lot since basically about the 2000s. They did the PG-13 horror remake run where they took all these classic R-rated slasher films and remade them as PG-13, and they were garbage. And then now we're overcorrecting where everything's gory, 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 or it's just weird. Like Midsommar was weird, Heredity was good, but Midsommar was like, what the fuck am I watching, And there was actually a film. What the hell was it called? It came out. What is this?
This is Creature Commandos. James Gunn directed. Since we're talking about the horror, this is the trailer for it. James Gunn directed this. It's basically they're framing it as Suicide Squad, but Amanda Waller got in trouble and couldn't use humans anymore. So, Suicide Squad with animals, or
Well, the Creature Commandos are a classic DC. Franchise, right? And obviously, they've turned Frankenstein into a woman, but that's okay.
Actually, I believe they're using both. They're using the Bride and Frankenstein's monster.
Nice. Anyway, there was a movie that came out a few years ago. I saw it on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a bunch of guys who go hiking in, I believe, the Swedish mountains.
The Ritual.
The Ritual.
You are talking about The Ritual, which was amazing.
That was a very good movie. The Ritual was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. They found the old cult of Loki way out.
Yes. Not Loki, Modi. It was the cult of Modi or whatever it is. It was
who was supposed to be a Loki spawn.
Yeah, one of Loki's spawn.
I love that movie. I forgot all about that one. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Werewolf by Night was a lot of fun, actually. Of that batch of Marvel stuff, Werewolf by Night was the best of the lot.
That was on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, but it was good. It was well done.
Yeah, I especially love that they dropped it with no warning. It was just one day. Werewolf by Night was available for streaming. It was black and white, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, I knew it was coming out. I was anticipating it. I guess I pay a teeny bit more attention, not much.
I apparently wasn't because
No, it's okay.
It wasn't. It was there. It was not there one day, and then it was there the next day, and I was like, oh, look at that.
So scary movies have a really hard time because, okay, you guys seen Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
Which version did you see? Did you see the original version or the post Spielberg input version? That's the question.
I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't know that Spielberg was involved at all.
In the original version, okay, at the end of the movie you saw, did she throw Micah's body at the camera and then we have her demon face and then that's the end of the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the post Spielberg version.
Oh, okay.
The original version, I've seen it, and that's the first version I saw. She, you hear something go on with Micah downstairs, and then she comes back upstairs, and she sits on the bed, and she just sits there, and the clock goes tick, 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 tick. And then boom, it stops, and you hear that friend come in, and she's like, blah, 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 Micah, and then she starts screaming, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and then boom, back to her sitting on the bed, nothing happening, tick, 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 tick. Cops come in. They come up the stairs. She stands up and walks over to the door like, what's going on? What's going on? They're like, don't move, don't move. Remember that thing with the light in the closet at the end of the hallway? The light goes out, the door slams, the cops shoot, end of movie. It was so much more effective than I'm going to throw a body at you and make a demon face. You know what I mean? And this is the problem we have, is that we've reduced the horror audience to 11-year-old girls. Boo! You know,
that the scare sting has become my huge problem with horror movies of late. They don't allow the audience to just be scared.
No.
You have to be scared when the movie wants you to be scared. So suddenly something has to suddenly come out at you from out of nowhere, and there has to be a sudden musical sting when it happens. So it's just an assault on your senses all at once. They don't allow you to just be terrified.
Yeah. The only thing they did, I think it was in the third Paranormal Activity film that got me, was they had set up the camera on an oscillating fan stand, and the girl's sitting at the table doing something, and it pans, and then it comes back, and there's someone under a sheet standing beside her, and then she turns and looks, the sheet falls.
And
that was well done.
I love that shot. That's my favorite shot from the whole franchise, actually. Yeah, this trailer was kind of cool because it's almost all of this trailer, at least half of it, is just audience reaction.
Yeah. And then here's the pull her out of the bed scene.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. I mean, so my girlfriend at the time, I saw it and I said, you should watch it. It's really scary. She goes, okay. And then she calls me and she goes, this wasn't scary. And I'm like, all right, cool. I thought it was scary. Whatever. 4 a.m, my phone rings. Oh, what's up? I can't sleep. That movie's in my head. I can't sleep. Stay up with me. So I had to stay up with her until the sun came up so she could go to bed, man. It was crazy.
So,
you know, a movie people love that I can't stand? Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, really? I hate that movie.
I think the movie is absolute shit, and people rave about it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's Raimi's return to horror. It was just one gross out after another, and not only that, it was unjust and unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Being turned down for a loan does not give you the right to curse someone to be dragged into hell.
Yeah.
The woman, the old Romani woman who was cursing people deserves to go to hell, because early in the movie she caused a child to be dragged into hell because he stole something from her shop. He shoplifted from her.
Yeah.
And she cursed a child to be dragged to hell. What the fuck?
Traveler law is harsh law. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, I went to see not the Insidious. I went to see the first Insidious movie in the theater. I was bored out of my mind. I was like, this is so stupid. This is not horror. This is just scares and boo.
It was one of those jump scare. I didn't care.
I agree. This is the problem. Horror has gone poorly for a long time. Talk to Me was whatever. I'm getting more into, I want psychological horror. Mm-hmm. I want stuff to play on my mind. You know, I want stuff to make me think. I want to see things in the background of frames, you know, stuff like that.
I am especially tired of horror movies where everyone dies. What's the point then? What is the freaking point of watching a movie where they struggle and fight and everyone dies, and whatever the supernatural thing at the end kills everyone? What's the point?
Well,
why are we even watching this?
Cabin in the Woods was good.
Cabin in the Woods was good for that was a genre subverter, and I enjoyed it for what it was.
My favorite TV show I watch right now is potentially able to be classified as horror, and it's called From. And
I have heard From was good. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, well, get on it because season 3 is airing right now, and boy, I tell you, it's a good show.
Have you guys seen Possessor?
No.
No.
It's okay. I'm gonna look up a trailer. That's one I haven't seen either. Have you guys watched that streaming show Evil?
Nope.
I watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes of Evil when it started, and it lost me. It seemed like they were trying too hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of soap opera stuff going on, but there's this old cranky nun, and she can see demons, and they're always really comical looking demons, and no one else can see them. So she'll be talking to someone like this, yeah, like this girl here, and she just starts clumping something on the floor with a shovel. The girl can't see, just thinks the nun is crazy. But throughout
That's
the show,
not Possessor, says Tay.
that's not Possessor, no.
No, this is Evil.
This is Evil.
Oh, this is Evil. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, trailers are fun, but without audio, they have no meaning. Bye, Mike.
We lost Mike.
He got possessed.
Oh no!
He was possessed.
There was a possession film that that I saw recently that's supposed to be based on a Cthulhu or a Lovecraft story. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's something like, Good Flesh or New Flesh or something like that. Let me try to find what it was.
Did you see the Kristen Stewart Alien Underwater movie?
Underwater? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. So good.
Very well done.
So good.
Very, very well done.
Tay says, from season 1 was great. Didn't enjoy season 2. Season 3 is better so far. All right, cool.
I liked all of it. The mystery continues, and more shit happens. I love From.
Suitable Flesh. That is what I was looking at, trying to think of.
All right,
Suitable Flesh. Heather Graham plays a psychiatrist, and one day one of her patients calls her on the phone, speaks a ritual, and swats bodies.
Oh, that's interesting.
Is this Possessor?
This is Possessor.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening here. Tay, if you can tell us what's going on here.
Oh, no, I've seen Possessor.
Okay, tell us about it.
People say it's horror. It's not. It's a science fiction film. I can see how some people might consider it to be horror, but it's honestly a science fiction film about someone who has a device that allows them to possess others' bodies, and they utilize it to spy on people. And generally they're there to steal and collect information about other people's lives.
It's horror people get controlled. Yep, that's a fair point, Tay.
And yeah, it is horror for the people who get controlled. Yes.
Well, being John Malkovich was a horror movie for John Malkovich. It was a quirky horror film for everybody else, but for John Malkovich.
John Malkovich. I'm an actor.
I have not seen that film. It didn't. It did not look good to me.
So, Mike, what's your favorite horror film of all time?
I got a really pedestrian, boring answer, but it's probably Blair Witch.
That was scary shit when it came out.
Yeah, my first rewatch was amazing. I mean, and the publicity leading up to it, and that fake documentary they had on the Sci-Fi Network in America, where they were, made it look like it was, hey, we found this weird footage in this 17th century dig site. There's no way it should be there. And you kind of bought into that bullshit. Subsequent watchings didn't do it at all for me, but the first time I watched it, it was just magical. So,
do you ever see? I had to watch it a second time, and when I did, I caught something I missed the first time.
What's that?
When she's going down the stairs to the basement where Mike is.
Yeah.
There are bloody handprints along the walls. But they're about 3 feet off the ground.
Oh.
So now remember the whole thing about him blinding the kids?
Yeah.
So these kids' eyes have been cut out, their hands are covered in blood, and they're trying to feel their way up the walls.
That makes sense.
That fucking hit me when I saw it the second time. I was like, oh shit. And I like stuff like that in the movie. All right, Jacob, what's your favorite horror film of all time?
Okay, I'm not sure how much in the way of horror it is. It's certainly a monster movie, though. Fright Night, classic '80s version.
Fright Night's an amazing film. I
like the original one and its sequel. I think they are both very good films in a story context.
The second one was okay, but the first one's fantastic.
Yeah, the second one may fall short, but I think it does what a sequel should do, which is expand upon the lore.
You recognize the chick who played the vampire in that one?
It's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't remember.
She's the lady from the book company in the Mouth of Madness that goes with him to Hobbs End.
Oh, okay. I've
Same
never
actor.
actually watched In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh,
The only thing I know about The Mouth of Madness is the classic scene of him being chased in the tunnel by the monsters.
oh my god, that's like a of the movie.
I know.
Have you seen The Thing?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I love The Thing. The Thing
Have you
is
seen Prince
The
of
Thing
Darkness?
is so freaking amazing.
It is. Have you seen Prince of Darkness?
Have I seen Prince of Darkness? I'm trying to remember.
Church. They got the big tube full of green water in the basement.
Yes,
and
I have
the
seen
devil.
Prince of Darkness. Yes.
Okay, well, In the Mouth of Madness is the third part of that, what he calls his Apocalypse trilogy.
Okay.
So all three are, right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I love a good horror film. A good, scary, psychological movie will really get me every time. A pointless
there.
gore fest bores me.
So there, you and Jacob are in firm agreement on that last sentiment, but you're a GM. In fact, you're Bear, the Gen X GM. Let me ask you this.
I am.
Does the horror genre translate to RPGs in general?
No.
Yeah, that's what
It can, and you can do it. Cthulhu is not it. Call of Cthulhu is the how long till I go insane game, right? That's all that is. It's not scary. As I've always said, if you're going to make a Call of Cthulhu character and you want to survive, cut out your tongue, poke out your eyes, punch out your eardrums, and burn off the tips of your fingers so you can't see, you can't taste, you can't talk, you can't read, you can't hear. That's the only way you're surviving this bullshit. Okay.
Mhm.
But
Dave says there's some nice horror shorts on YouTube. Curve is great. I will agree.
There is a new Cthulhu RPG coming out by Chaosium, as I recall.
well, the 7th edition just came out.
I think it's like the Arkham Horror RPG.
Oh yeah. Huh. Maybe I'll get a review copy. So the thing with horror and role playing is you can do it, but you need a couple of things. One, you need buy-in from the players, and the secret of horror in a role-playing game is a role-playing game is all about fantasy fulfillment, right?
Yeah,
that's what role-playing is.
I was talking about that earlier.
So when you do horror, it has to be fantasy denial.
Yes.
You have to take away, you have to depower. You can't empower. You have to unpower them. You have to remove the player. Well, I don't like player agency. You have to remove the character agency. You have to put them in a position where no matter what they do, they can't succeed excessively. And when they do start to have success, get ready to flip the table on them. You can do it, but it's really hard. And people have to be really into the role playing if they're going to get into a horror game.
Hey, so this just came up in my feed while I've been searching for horror trailers. This is Werewolves 2024.
I just saw the trailer for this last night.
With Frank Grillo.
It looks like a werewolf apocalypse film.
No.
Where apparently it's going to be an action film. It's not going to be a horror film. Apparently the idea is a year ago, over half the world suddenly turned into werewolves, and they're trying to figure out why it's happened. But as in the werewolf thing, they're bloodthirsty creatures. They go around killing any people, and those who survived the bites become werewolves. So it's just compounding the problem.
This has a lot of very pretty people and close-ups. That makes me always nervous about a movie.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an action film. It does not look like it's going to be a horror.
Yeah, well, when the opening line of the trailer is Frank Grillo saying, "Hey, bite me," and he's got a big 30 cal.
Yeah. Dalthaman says, true horror is when you destroy people's fantasies. Like Nietzsche said, people fear the truth because it breaks their illusions of reality. Twilight Zone that plays here.
In my personal opinion, as it's been asked, the one RPG that I think does horror really well is the one that I constantly go back to for playing normal humans and playing them very well. Savage Worlds.
Really? Okay.
Savage Worlds is the one RPG out there that represents playing normal humans in an RPG well, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that of the numerous games I have played, I can't claim for everything, but of the ones I have played,
That's fair. I ran a really good horror campaign using Chill.
I've never
back
played
in
Chill.
college. Well, I played. It was the second version from Mayfair, the book as opposed to the old Pacesetter box set.
My
And
roommates have played Chill in the past, and they said it was excellent. I have not
It
had
is.
experience myself.
It's a very good game, but you got to really, again, if the players aren't into it, if the players are just going to be cracking jokes all night and being, it's not going to work.
Well, it's
No.
all about player buy-in. Anything you're going to play, from superheroes to fantasy role, whatever. If the people aren't, and there's nothing wrong with being there to drink beer and eat Cheetos and quote Monty Python. It's not my
Not
favorite
for a horror
thing.
game.
Not for a horror game, but I mean, a non-zero percentage of the hobby. That's all they're there for.
Yeah,
That's okay, but those aren't the guys you invite to have a serious game.
Yeah,
So
it is what it is.
Yeah, this is an interesting discussion. I didn't think this was going to go quite this direction, but I'm having a good time with it.
We love horror. It's a good genre, and we like to see it treated well. We hate to see it when it's treated badly, and it's been treated badly so much.
Well, I mean, we were talking, hell, they lampshaded this in The Sopranos. Horror movies the genre has a very dedicated audience. Those movies tend to always make their budgets back. So you get a lot of shitty horror produced.
So I can
Yeah.
tell you from working in the film industry,
Mhm.
whenever you try and pitch a film on the international market, Korea, Japan, parts of Europe, whatever you're doing, the first question they're going to ask you, who's your star? Because they know how much he's worth or she's worth. They will make us this much money back, therefore they know how much money to offer for a project. The only place they don't do that is horror, because horror always makes its money back. Always.
Yeah.
Without fail.
Yeah, and I want to say later seasons of The Sopranos, the New Jersey mob family was actually laundering money into a horror movie.
Yeah.
For exactly that reason.
Oh no, horror always makes its money back.
So on this last thing, in what I imagine you're going to, considering we're coming up on an hour now, are there any?
Mike can't do 2-hour shows. Mike's head pops like a balloon.
I got a kid.
Are there any horror themed films or books or games that people are looking forward to that are coming soon?
My own Final Age. So a few years ago, I did the Final Age primer for 5th edition, put up on Drive-Thru. It's a copper bestseller. Means nothing. And it's basically a post-apocalyptic fantasy world where you don't leave the city at night. And don't cast spells in the wilds because that will attract things and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I finally am writing it as a game using a heavily modified BRP system and making it a full game with the setting and everything else in it. And I'm having a lot of fun writing it. And I'm having a lot of fun doing stuff like coming up with, okay, there's all these spells. So first thing is don't do magic. But now here's 6 magic systems that are really interesting and are going to attract the shit out of you, and you're going to want to play them. It's a trap. But one of the things I put in is, because it's BRP, you use magic points to cast. A lot of the stuff you want to do is going to have way more magic points cost than you can have as a normal character. But you can sacrifice 5 hit points for 1 magic point, and they don't have to be your hit points. And then I made up a whole sacrifice table and how much power and magic various types of people get. So things like pubescent virgins, post-pubescent virgins, holy men, children of holy men. And then just for fun, I threw in green eyes. Just like green eyes. Well, they're worth a little bit more, And
well, they're more rare, of course.
So when's this coming out? Next year? This year?
Next year. I mean, it's going to be released without art originally, because I was literally looking. I did 180 monsters for it, and I was looking at them all, going, "Oh my god, that's going to cost me so much money in art." And then I looked at all the descriptions I wrote, and I said, the biggest problem we have in role playing right now is that referees go, and then you see this guy, and they hold up a picture.
Yeah.
Well, how about if I just give them a description, and now you, as the referee, have to actually describe what your players see?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. For so many publishers, it's all about, sorry, Jacob, funneling money to big art. The big art.
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, because the idea is, and it's false, if I put enough of an art budget into this, I'm going to have a great book. It'll be a huge success. And that's not true. If you put a bunch of art in it, you're going to have a beautiful book.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's a good thing by itself. Marketing is a weird black magic science. Art does not guarantee success.
RPG publishing is in and of itself horror and madness.
That is fair. Hey, to answer Jacob's question, I have been really curious about this Nosferatu film coming out this Christmas.
As have
Yeah,
I.
it looks interesting. It does look
Yes.
interesting.
The new Nosferatu film looks interesting, and I am hopeful that it will be a good update to a classic.
Well, I mean, listen, Count Orlok will always be one of my favorite vampires, right?
Mhm.
Which is why I used Count Orlok in Superpowered Legends, because I felt that Dracula had been overdone. So I went with Orlok.
Yeah.
It's every once in a while I like it when Marvel breaks out, you know. Oh boy, when I was reading that British super team, MI13, with the Black Knight and Blade, boy, they had him fighting Dracula on the moon. And it was stupid, but it was like big 70s Marvel stupid. And I you know, it's not often I get a Marvel comic I can enjoy in that flavor, so I dug it.
I always liked the Storm Dracula bit from X-Men when Dracula is going to turn Storm into a vampire. That was kind of
Yeah, the Bloodstorm, that was good.
cool.
So
That was a pretty decent story. I enjoyed that,
Yeah.
and it resulted in getting rid of vampires from Marvel for the better part of 30 years.
You know what I'm fucking sick of? Zombies.
God,
yeah, I agree.
I could do a while without zombies. Talk about overdone.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, besides Nosferatu, I'm looking forward to seeing what the new Wednesday season is going to be like, because according to everything that Jenna Ortega has been talking about, they're really ramping up the horror elements in the new season.
I haven't even seen the first Wednesday series. No interest, to be honest.
As an Addams Family fan, I enjoyed Wednesday.
The hell is this? What are we looking at?
This is Dreamboat Willie coming out in 2025.
God.
Why?
I'm sorry. We should get the RPG rights for that, man. We would make $1 million.
You're a bad man, sir.
Yeah. I was tempted to show Blood and Honey, but that was even that trailer was.
I like the Vivitch. The Vivitch was good.
That was A24, right? Was that the one with the black goat?
Yep. The
Yeah.
Vivitch was good.
I like that one. Trying to think of other. You know, when I read Amityville Horror when I was a kid, it scared the living shit out of me. I was freaked out for like a week. And no other book did that for me ever again for like 20 years until I read The House of Leaves by, I want to say, Mark Lewandowski in the early 2000s. And it was this weird, freaky book. Part of it was his journal, and then part of it was his mom's journal. And the appendix of the book was like his mom's therapist notes from when he was a kid. But the guys had this way of writing. Thought, are you summoning something in the contents? What are you doing there, buddy?
I've never been scared by a book except The Shining.
The Shining?
Yeah, but I read it when I was home for Christmas in the dead of winter. And like every night, everyone would go to bed and I'd still be awake, and I couldn't play TV because it would wake everybody up. So I'd just be like, all right, I'll read. And I grabbed The Shining off the bookshelf and I started reading it. So here I'm reading this thing at like 2, 3 in the morning by myself in a house in the country in winter going,
Are you afraid of moving topiary now?
Yeah, pretty much. This was amazing. This was so good. I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, I have loved every season of Love Sucks Robots.
I still think the first season was the best.
Yes.
Second season was okay, though. And there's a third season coming, apparently.
Mhm.
That was good. The giant crab.
Mhm.
That was a good one. But yeah, horror is a very specific type of thing, and what scares you might not scare me, and what scares me might not scare you, right?
Yeah. Thing about House of Leaves, and it's hard to articulate, but he had this way of writing. It was a haunted house story, basically. And it noticed it slowly at first. Like they were renovating the house. The contractor's like, why is this hallway bigger on the inside than the outside? They did measurements and it was right. And then there was just slowly building more and more weird things. Then one day there's like hallways in the house going, 30 foot down into straight darkness. And no one knows, the weirdness got more and more in the way he described the darkness. I don't know. It just punched my buttons the right way. But
no one should ever punch your buttons.
Are you just jealous?
Yes.
It's not that far to Colorado. You can drive.
Oh, I don't drive, so I'd have to fly, and then I'd have to land in that fucking airport, and that scares me more than anything else.
The Illuminati are there. So.
Dead horse. What the fuck?
Everyone talks about that damn horse. Speaking of horror, the Blucifer, the giant blue stallion in front of the
killed its creator.
Killed its creator. It did. Yeah. I'm surprised no one made a movie about that, but literally killed its creator. So
I just showed my Discord. We had a Saturday night movie night, and we watched some anime. We watched the 3 episodes of AD Police Store Files, and then I showed them Rock and Rule, and none of them had ever seen Rock and Rule. And as I'm watching it, I'm thinking of all these concerts that go on today with all the satanic stuff in it, and I'm like, first of all, Mock did it first. You're losers. Second of all, I'm like, why is there so much occult shit going on right now? Like, what is going on? Like, what? And that scares me way more than a movie. Because, like, if you go and, like, do a little research, you'll see, like, all these rap artists, and they're doing, like, satanic rituals in their fucking concerts now. And it's like, what's going on? Are they, like, why?
Is it more than just Ghost?
Oh, it's something, man. Like, you got to look at it's crazy what's going on. We were talking about this today on my live stream this afternoon. I'm now, we were talking about, for some reason we were talking about movies, and we started talking about Guy Ritchie films, and I'm like, Madonna's a fucking talent succubus. Like, that's what she does. Because, and I don't believe in ghosts, I don't believe in the supernatural, but I believe Madonna's a talent succubus because she drained Guy Ritchie and made him make bad films. She fucked up A-Rod's baseball career, and then the fucking apple on the cake is when she kissed Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera at that award show, and immediately both those two girls' careers went, and they went crazy, and they were in trouble, and it's like, Madonna's sucking talent out of people. She's a demoness.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly believe that, and so does oh God, what's her name? She's a famous
Aubrey Plaza, Susan Sarandon,
Patti LuPone. Patti LuPone. She is very outspoken about how she feels about Madonna, and that she's a terrible actress and singer who steals the fame where she has uncredited. She has the fame that others deserve.
So Tay21 says,
Plaza, have you been watching Agatha all along?
I have, and that is excellent.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm really glad the last episode there was no musical number, because I was getting to the point after the 3rd episode, I'm like, is every episode just going to have a sing-along? Because this is getting exhausting.
Yeah, I've been burned by Disney Plus too many times. I wait for good word of mouth before I jump into a new show.
I've been enjoying it so far, but okay. I really, they're going to have to go somewhere extra special with it if they want to bring it home, because it's starting to feel like WandaVision. Great start. Heading towards a mediocre finish.
Yeah. So Tay21 asks, what are your guys' thoughts on Longlegs? I haven't seen it yet except for a few scenes. So I'm a big fan of Nicolas Cage's current crazy, I'm doing wacky bullshit phase of his career. And so I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yeah.
Mandy. Have you seen Mandy, Mike?
I have seen bits and pieces. I want to see the whole thing. Color Out of Space was also supposed to be really good. So.
I saw Color Out of Space. It was all right.
Okay. All right, I'm getting text from my wife.
But the one I recommend, of course, is The Arcadian.
Yep, I will check that out too. And I'm getting text from my wife asking me to come upstairs and put my spawn to sleep. So, I've got to check out.
Just for future reference, you can go do that, and we can hold the fort for however long it takes, and then you can come back. All right. Peace, love, geek.
All right. Hey, T21, good seeing you too. Thought them on. Wasn't too bad. Club from Outer Space was oh, cool. Good to know. Bear, been a pleasure talking to you, sir. It's always fun having you on the show.
Thank you.
Jacob, always a pleasure, sir.
Glad to be here.
And we'll catch you guys next time on the BAM Podcast.